Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, why am I feeling older than I should? Maybe it's not just the wrinkles or the gray hairs. Maybe it's the way your body moves a little slower or how your energy doesn't last as long as it used to. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Aging is a natural part of life, but how fast we age, that part might be more in our control than we think. One of the biggest secrets to feeling younger, staying sharp, and keeping your body strong lies in something we do every single day: the food we eat. Yes, our meals can either be a powerful ally in aging gracefully, or the silent culprit speeding up the clock. After 70, every bite counts more than ever. Now, I want you to know, this isn't about strict diets, counting every calorie, or giving up everything you love. That's not realistic, and frankly, it's not fun. But what is important is becoming a little more aware of the choices we make at the table. Because some foods, especially the ones we've grown used to, might be working against us. Let me ask you this. Do you still enjoy bacon and sausage for breakfast? Or maybe reach for a sugary cookie or snack to keep you going in the afternoon? I get it. Those comforts are hard to resist. But here's something I've learned the hard way. Those same foods could be accelerating aging in ways we don't even notice until it's too late. Let's start with processed meats. Bacon, sausages, deli cuts. These are packed with preservatives, sodium, and chemicals that are hard on the body. They may taste good, but over time, they lead to inflammation, raise blood pressure, and damage our cells in ways that show up as fatigue, joint pain, or even memory loss. After 70, our bodies don't repair as quickly as they used to, so the damage adds up quietly and steadily. And then there's the sugar. Not just the spoonful in your coffee or the occasional slice of cake. Though those add up too, but those sneaky snacks we sometimes keep in the cupboard, packaged cookies, pastries, granola bars that pretend to be healthy but are really sugar bombs in disguise. Sugar can speed up aging by increasing oxidative stress and feeding inflammation. It doesn't just affect your waistline, it affects your brain, your heart, even your skin. If you've ever felt foggy or unusually tired after eating something sweet, that's not your imagination. Your body's trying to tell you something. You know what else can be tricky? Dairy. Now, I'm not saying cut it all out. Many of us grew up with milk as a staple, and a little cheese on a sandwich never hurt anyone. But as we age, our digestive systems change. A lot of folks over 70 start to have trouble processing dairy, even if it never used to be a problem. Bloating, gas, discomfort. These are signs that your body might not be loving that glass of milk the way it once did. Plus, full-fat dairy is high in saturated fat, which, over time, can contribute to heart issues and weight gain. And speaking of digestion, have you noticed how bread doesn't seem to sit quite right anymore? Especially that soft, white bread we often grab for sandwiches or toast. That's refined flour. It turns to sugar quickly in your body, causing spikes in blood sugar and insulin resistance. Not only does that mess with your energy levels, it also increases your risk of type 2 diabetes, something that's becoming all too common in older adults. But don't worry, we're not here to dwell on the negative. The goal isn't to guilt you about yesterday's sandwich or last night's dessert. The point is to start paying closer attention, to take back a bit of control. Because every small change you make can have a big impact. Not just on how long you live, but how well you live. Let me tell you something personal. I used to snack on those little packaged pastries every evening. Felt like a treat, a way to unwind. But over time, I started noticing I was feeling more sluggish, waking up with stiff joints, and needing naps more often. When I started cutting out some of those high-sugar snacks, it didn't take long to feel the difference. My mind felt clearer. My body moved easier. I didn't expect such a big change from something so small, but there it was. So if you've been feeling like time's catching up faster than it should, start with your plate. Ask yourself, is this food helping me feel strong, clear-headed, and energized? Or is it silently wearing me down? And that's just the beginning. In the next part, we'll continue looking at other foods that may be doing more harm than good. Some might surprise you. But for now, I just want you to pause and think about the last few meals you've had. Was there something processed, sugary, or dairy-heavy in there? If so, you're not alone. But maybe it's time we started making a few swaps. You deserve to feel good in your body. You deserve energy that lasts through the day, a mind that stays sharp, and a life filled with vitality, no matter your age. And believe it or not, it starts with what's on your fork. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest culprits that tends to sneak onto our plates more often than we realize: fried foods. Golden and crispy might sound delicious, but that crunch often comes with a hidden cost. I know, there's something comforting about a crispy piece of fried chicken or a plate of fries with lunch. But when we eat fried foods regularly, especially after 70, the body starts to pay a hefty price. Here's why. Fried foods are not just high in calories. They're low in nutrients. That means they fill you up, but they don't feed you in the ways your body really needs. Instead, they contribute to weight gain, raise cholesterol, and increase inflammation. They're also often cooked in oils that are high in trans fats, which are linked to heart disease and cognitive decline. And if that wasn't enough, those high temperatures used in frying, they create harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These compounds speed up aging by damaging your cells and tissues. They're like little accelerators of the aging process, hiding in every crispy bite. And what's worse is that so many of our favorite comfort foods fall into this category: French fries, donuts, fried fish, onion rings. Even if we only eat them once in a while, over time, they chip away at our health, especially when our metabolism slows down and our bodies need more help, not more harm. Let's take a moment and reflect. When was the last time you reached for something fried because it was easy or familiar? Maybe it was just a quick meal out with friends, or something from the freezer tossed into the pan. It's okay. We all do it. But maybe next time, you swap those fries for a baked sweet potato or a roasted veggie. Small change, big difference. Now, while we're at it, let's not forget something that many folks over 70 often overlook: alcohol. I know, a glass of wine in the evening can feel like a nice way to unwind. But here's the tricky part. As we get older, our tolerance for alcohol changes. Our liver processes it more slowly, and it interacts with medications in ways that can be dangerous. What used to feel like just one drink can now leave you dizzy, tired, or even at risk of a fall. But beyond that, alcohol can affect sleep quality, raise blood pressure, and put stress on your organs. It also dehydrates the body, and dehydration alone can make you feel older. Your joints ache more, your skin dries out, your energy dips. And let's not forget, alcohol is also loaded with empty calories. Over time, those extra calories can lead to weight gain and increase your risk of diabetes and heart disease. I once spoke with a gentleman named Frank, 82 years old, sharp as a tack. He told me the one change that made the biggest difference for him wasn't what he started eating. It was what he stopped drinking. He used to enjoy a glass of whiskey every evening. Nothing crazy, just a little habit. But when his doctor recommended cutting back due to some medication changes, he decided to stop altogether. And within a month, he said he felt clearer, slept better, and had more energy during the day than he'd had in years. Sometimes, letting go of something familiar opens the door to something better. Now, let's touch on something that's so common these days. It's easy to overlook: sugary drinks. I'm not just talking about soda, though that's a big one. I'm talking about fruit juices, sweetened iced teas, sports drinks, anything that seems refreshing but is secretly loaded with sugar. Many of these drinks are marketed as healthy or energizing, but the truth is they often contain just as much sugar as a can of soda. And unlike whole fruits, which have fiber to slow down sugar absorption, these drinks hit your bloodstream fast. That spike in blood sugar can lead to crashes in energy, cravings, and long-term damage to your heart, kidneys, and brain. Plus, sugary drinks do nothing to satisfy hunger. They just add extra calories without making you feel full, which is a sneaky way to gain weight without realizing it. I had a neighbor, Judy, who was always sipping on bottled green tea, the kind with pretty labels and promises of antioxidants. But when she started tracking her sugar intake for a health class at her community center, she was shocked to learn that her healthy tea had more sugar than a candy bar. She switched to plain iced herbal tea with a slice of lemon. And within weeks, she noticed she didn't feel as bloated or sluggish in the afternoons. See, it's not about giving up everything. It's about becoming more curious, more aware, and more empowered. You're not just older, you're wiser. You've lived enough to know what matters. And what matters most now is your health, your energy, and your peace of mind. One of the sneakiest traps in today's food world is processed and packaged foods. You know the kind: TV dinners, box snacks, instant meals. They're convenient, sure, but they're often full of preservatives, artificial flavors, and chemicals our bodies don't need. They're stripped of nutrients and packed with salt and sugar to make up for the lack of freshness. Over time, eating these foods regularly can increase your risk of high blood pressure, diabetes, and even memory problems. The problem isn't just that these foods lack nutrition, it's that they actively contribute to aging by creating stress inside your body. They make your heart work harder, your brain slower, and your skin lose its glow. And that's not just me talking, that's science. Now I know life gets busy, and sometimes grabbing a frozen dinner is all we have energy for. That's okay. But what if just once this week, you swap that frozen lasagna for a bowl of homemade soup or a fresh stir-fry? What if you added a colorful salad with dinner, just to give your body the nutrients it's craving? You'd be amazed at what small shifts can do. You don't need to overhaul your whole kitchen. Just start where you are with what you have. Let's keep going, because we're not quite done yet. There are a few more foods that many people over 70 eat regularly, sometimes without realizing they're doing their bodies more harm than good. Take a moment and think about comfort foods. For many of us, pizza and burgers top the list. They bring back memories, family gatherings, quick meals, or those "I deserve a treat" kind of nights. And while the occasional slice won't send your health spiraling, eating these foods too often definitely adds up. Pizza and burgers are typically high in saturated fats, processed meats, and sodium. That combo is like a perfect storm when it comes to aging. It puts extra pressure on your heart, contributes to inflammation, and can even affect your mood and energy levels. Some folks have shared how they feel sluggish or bloated the next day, and that's not just coincidence. It's your body working overtime to process something it really didn't need. Now, I'm not saying never eat pizza again. Life should still be enjoyable, but maybe it's time to think about making a few swaps, like trying a homemade flatbread with fresh veggies and a light sprinkle of cheese. Or building a burger at home using lean meat, avocado, and a whole grain bun. You still get the taste you love, but with less of the stuff your body doesn't need. Speaking of inflammation, and this one might surprise you, have you ever noticed how food they're grilled, charred, or even overly browned taste a little extra smoky? That flavor comes from compounds formed when food is cooked at high temperatures. These compounds, called advanced glycation end products, AGEs for short, are troublemakers. They damage cells, increase oxidative stress, and speed up the signs of aging both inside and out. Charred meats, crispy chicken skin, well-done toast. These are some of the worst offenders. Again, once in a while isn't the end of the world. But when it becomes a habit, it starts to show. Your skin loses its elasticity, your joints ache more often, and your energy seems to drain faster. I remember one lovely woman, Margaret, who used to cook everything until it was crispy. She said it was how she grew up. But once she learned about ages and how they impact aging, she started baking and steaming more instead. Within months, her skin looked brighter, her hands moved more easily, and she said she felt light again. That's the power of knowledge and a few thoughtful choices. Now, let's circle back to something we mentioned earlier: red meat and full-fat dairy. Both are rich in saturated and trans fats. When we were younger, our bodies could manage a little excess here and there. But after 70, that tolerance starts to fade. These fats can build up in your arteries, raise cholesterol levels, and increase your risk of heart disease. If you've ever had a blood test come back with warnings about cholesterol, this might be a good place to start adjusting. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy a little steak or a dollop of whipped cream now and then. But maybe switch out beef a couple of times a week for fish, beans, or lentils. Try low-fat or plant-based dairy options. The key is balance, not restriction. And here's the best part. The more you move away from aging foods, the more room you create for healing foods. You'll notice your digestion gets easier, your sleep improves, your joints ache less, and your mind feels sharper. That's no coincidence. That's your body saying, thank you. When you start eating more whole, unprocessed foods like leafy greens, colorful vegetables, berries, nuts, seeds, and whole grains, you're not just preventing disease. You're giving your body the tools to thrive. These foods are rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals that support every part of you, from your brain to your bones. They also support emotional health. I met so many seniors who felt depressed or anxious without knowing why. And while mental health is complex, diet plays a huge role. Foods that cause inflammation can affect your mood. But foods that fight inflammation, they lift you up. It's like giving your mind a fresh start every day. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to care. A little more awareness each day, a little more love for the body that's carried you through so much. If you've been nodding along or thinking, I didn't know that, that's wonderful, because that's where change begins. Not with guilt or fear, but with understanding. Here's what I hope you'll take away today. You're not too old to make changes. In fact, this might be the perfect time, because now you know your body better than ever. You know how it feels when something's right and when something's not. And now you've got some powerful knowledge about how food affects aging. So the next time you open the fridge or walk down the grocery aisle, pause for just a moment. Ask yourself, is this helping me feel younger, stronger, and more alive? And if the answer is no, maybe it's time to leave it on the shelf. Your best years are not behind you. They're still unfolding. Every healthy choice you make adds another chapter to the story, one that's full of energy, clarity, joy, and independence. Before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are there any foods you've given up that made a difference in how you feel? Or maybe you're planning to try something new after today. Share your experience in the comments. I truly enjoy hearing your stories. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel. We got so many more uplifting tips on healthy aging, simple nutrition, and joyful living still to come. Thank you for spending this time with me. You deserve to feel great every day. And with just a little awareness and a lot of heart, you absolutely can. Here's to living your healthiest, happiest life at any age. You've earned it.